Hello, AP COGOers, and by that I mean students of AP Comparative Government and Politics. Also, welcome to any family members, parents, or guardians that are joining us on this video as well. My name is Mrs. Terenchin, also known as Mrs. T for short. The goal of this video is to go over course information about AP Comparative Government and Politics. Basically, think of this as a video of the most important components of the syllabus. Why did I take the time to make a video that goes over the most important parts of the syllabus? Because the syllabus is the most important document in a course. It guides my expectations for you as my students. It guides my promises to you as your instructor. It's a way to provide clarity, particularly in the wake of our all virtual start this year. So my goal is to try to walk you through the most important components so that there are no surprises. Now, I'd like to take a moment to teach you your first AP COGO term, transparency. When a government operates transparently, it means that a government is open about the decision-making and rationale behind decision-making in the course of any action. So if governments are clear about what they're doing, how they're doing it, and why they're doing it, it means they're transparent. Just like a government, I will attempt to be transparent with you at all times this year. If you ever have a doubt as to what we're doing, how we're doing it, and why we're doing it that way, all you have to do is ask. But I promise you, I will try to make all of those things clear so that you don't even have to ask. I will hold you to high standards, but I also in return will hold myself to the highest standard. I look forward to this year, to working with you, and to all that you are going to learn. This course can open minds, broaden horizons, and challenge you in different ways. I know it did the same for me when I took the course in 2006. I'm really looking forward to this year. So without further ado, let's jump into how we're going to do what we need to do this year. Now, I wish I could be addressing you from here. This is E123 in our normal home within Hilton High School. If and when we return to in-person classes, whether on a hybrid or a full schedule, we will have to make adjustments to the requirements that we're setting up now, but that's all for a later date. Everything I'm going to cover in this video applies most directly to the first quarter, what we're going to do, how we're going to do it, and why we're going to do it that way, given our all virtual start for all students in AP Comparative Government and Politics this year. The course we're discussing today is AP Comparative Government and Politics. I know that some of you are very experienced with AP courses, having taken them in other years of your educational studies, but for anyone who doesn't know what AP is or what it means, AP stands for Advanced Placement. AP courses are created by an organization known as the Educational Testing Service, also known as College Board. They're the same people that write and create things like the PSAT and SAT. The goal is that they have provided us with a curriculum or a framework of study that will ask you to learn what you would learn in a full semester college level introductory course in this subject. In the spring, in May, students are expected to sit for AP exams. This exam will assess your level of knowledge about comparative government and politics. If you know enough to score well on the exam, you may be eligible for college credit at universities and colleges in Virginia and across the country. I will provide more information on the AP exam at the end of this video. Just a quick note about CISL. The international research paper is covered in the AP Comparative Government course, and I will provide additional information about that as we move through the presentation as well. This course is open to both CISL and non-CISL students, and I'm excited to have you on this journey. Contact information is going to be incredibly important this year with our all virtual start. The best way to get a hold of me quickly is by email. terencce@pwcs.edu is my Prince William County email account. You can find this information on the slide that you're viewing, along with on our school's webpage and in multiple places on our Canvas account, including the bottom of our AP Comparative Government and Politics course page. Tutoring and office hours are going to be exceptionally important this year as well, I believe, given the virtual constraints. My plan is to hold office hours every day of the week. Tuesday through Friday, I know that those office hours will be from 8 to 8:30 a.m. That is before the school day starts, and from 2:50 to 3:30 p.m., which is at the end of the actual school day. My plan is also to hold office hours on Monday, but I'm still finalizing the meeting schedule with both the school, my department, and my PLCs. So as soon as I know when those office hours will be, I will let you know immediately. All of these opportunities for tutoring and office hours will be located in Zoom in our Canvas course. So if you navigate to Zoom using either the button for Zoom on our homepage, or if you go to the side navigation bar and click Zoom, you'll see all of the course meetings and all of my office hours listed daily based on which meeting is coming up next. If a student wants to join me for a Zoom call, they're free to jump on those calls in between these specific hours. Canvas is going to be the learning management system that we'll be using and navigating together this year. It will contain all of your assignments, assessments, and links to our live Zoom meetings. Being able to access Canvas is incredibly important this year. Please let me know if you have any trouble accessing Canvas, and I will try to point you in the right direction. Most of what we do this year will be done digitally, so there aren't a ton of supplies that would necessarily come in handy this year. But what I do recommend that students have on hand is lined notebook paper for taking notes and writing down key or important information. Blank computer paper, they won't need a whole ream of it, not anywhere close, but some blank computer paper would allow us to diagram governments and government structures on those pieces of paper. This wouldn't be needed until well after Q1 is over. A folder or a binder would be great to help with organization so that you could always access your comparative government materials whenever needed. And then a recommendation I have, it's not required, but a recommended set of materials would be different colored pens for the days when we diagram each of our countries. These country diagrams showcase all of a country's institutions on one page and can be very powerful reference tools for the entire course. It's not required that you use different colors, but it can accentuate and bring out and help students find details and compare and contrast. So it would be helpful if they had access to some different colors of pens. How are we going to learn this year? So before I cover what we're going to learn, I want to talk about the process for how we're going to go about doing that so that you know where you can find the materials that you need and why we're going to learn this way. We're going to break down our learning into 3 main categories this year. The first thing is that I will be providing a mix of asynchronous or lessons that can be accessed at any time and live lessons along with textbook reading. So what can you expect from your Canvas modules? The first thing you can expect is that these modules will be painstakingly created by me, your instructor, knowing what the course requires, what you need to learn, what skills you need to practice, and how to get you to practice those skills and that content so that you learn the material. I expect I will be blending everything I can. So I will use video lectures that are mine, recorded by me, and fed through a software known as Edpuzzle, which will ask you questions to make sure you understand the lectures as you go. I'll also be giving you tons of practice assignments, practice readings and questions, practice writing assignments, practice with your vocabulary. All of those things will be built directly into your Canvas modules. And again, everything will be designed with a specific purpose in mind. None of it will be filler or fluff or anything unnecessary. I promise you, I will not waste your time this year. This is a college level course and will be taught as such. That means that students will need to read from a textbook in order to gain information. Textbook reading assignments will be broken down first by 2 books and second into manageable components that are not overwhelming, unless you wait until the night before to do them. The first text we're going to use this year is a review book, the AP Comparative Government and Politics, an Essential Course by Ethel Wood. We're going to use the first chapter of her book because it's one of the best written, concise, and yet still covers everything we need, introduction into comparative political science and political theory. She does a great job of using key terms that we'll use all throughout the year. This will be issued to all students in a PDF through the Canvas page. They do not need to buy any text for our work this year. After we get through our introductory units on the introduction to comparative and political science, we will transition to using text from the Essentials of Comparative Politics, which is a book that does a wonderful job of evaluating an entire country based on the criteria we use in AP Comparative Government and Politics. Each of these will be issued via PDF, a chapter at a time, and then assignments will ask you to read sections of a chapter at a time. Textbook reading is not the only part of the way we'll learn, but it is a component of a college-level course. Learning to read and understand information from a text is something that will come in very handy if a student does choose to pursue higher education after attending Hilton High School. The third component of our work together this year will take place through live Zoom sessions. Especially in the first quarter, one thing that we know is that we will be meeting digitally in live Zoom sessions twice a week. What I need you to know, first of all, are a couple of things about these live Zoom sessions. Number one, I am incredibly excited to meet you and work with you live and in real time. Number two, I am again not going to waste your time. So if I ask you to cover something on your own time or through an assignment, I will not just simply restate that information in the live Zoom session. So if I ask you to watch a video or a recording or read an article, we are not just simply going to cover the same material. What I am trying to do is ask you to do some work independently through Canvas. And then in other live Zoom sessions, I want to reinforce the content, practice our skills, and use this to really make the course come alive. So things you can expect to see in our live Zoom sessions include debates, discussions about current events, Socratic seminars about articles that we've read, practice with key concepts, practice with writing, experiential activities where you become the members of the United Kingdom's House of Commons, have a cabinet meeting of the Mexican leaders, have a meeting of the mind with all the leaders from Russia and China and their different philosophies. These sessions will not be a restatement of any video lectures. While I may clarify some terms as we go, they are meant to supplement the learning you are doing on your own and be another productive part of how we're going to learn everything we need to by May. How will I assess what you know? Well, we're going to use a variety of summative assessments. Summative assessments are designed to assess your knowledge and mastery of a subject or its components. So one thing that I can tell you is that there will be at least one summative assessment per unit or per module that we complete this year. I am looking at a variety of different types of summative assessments, including independent projects, group projects, or tests. Depending on how much work and experiential activity requires, I might also use an experiential activity as a summative assessment. The goal is to assess what you know in the best way possible so that I can give you feedback on what you know and what you do not know yet. How will I grade your work? So when it comes to grading, the Social Studies Department has decided that formative assessments will count for 40% of a student's overall grade. These assignments and assessments in the formative category are meant to help give students feedback and showcase what they do not know yet and what they need to learn before a summative assessment. Summative assessments in our department will be worth 60% of a student's overall grade. Late work policy. All work must be submitted at least 1 week before the end of the quarter. The reasoning for this decision is, while there's only one of me, there are over 146 of you, and that number could still go up. This means that I need time to adequately be able to assess your work in order to report grades to Prince William County Public Schools. So all work submitted at least 1 week before the quarter closes. This is a fast-paced and advanced course, and the expectation is that you will complete assignments by the deadline listed on Canvas. An inability to complete assignments by due dates will result in phone calls home, conferences, referrals to counseling or administrators, and or a U for effort for the quarter. The reasoning here is that I'm concerned if you get behind, it will be incredibly hard for you to catch up. So work needs to be completed in a timely fashion so that I can give you feedback that will allow you to be successful, not only on formative, but also on summative assessments. Again, I will not waste your time. Every assignment I give will have a purpose, and I will make sure that that purpose is clear. I encourage you to ask if you do not know why we are doing something. Nothing is here to waste your time. Every formative assignment is meant to help you practice before you reach a summative assessment. One goal I have is that students will continue to learn throughout the entire course. One of the ways that we learn is we learn by what we did not know the first time round. So reassessment opportunities are available to students. In order to qualify for a reassessment opportunity, all undone formative work must be done before the reassessment will be given. If you haven't done the practice leading up to retaking something larger that's meant to assess all of your knowledge on a given topic, the assumption is you will not be successful on that retake. So all undone formative work must be done before I will give you a reassessment. The reassessment will not be in an identical form as the original assessment. You will either see different alternative questions, or you will see or have a different format of an assessment. The reasoning behind this is in part fairness and to promote academic integrity. It wouldn't be fair to give the same retest if you've already had a chance to see what the answers were to the original reassessment, or if you were able to get a copy of someone else's assessment from the first round. So in part, what I will do is make sure that the assessment, the reassessment, aligns with the original assessment. Students need to prepare for this reassessment. The new score will stand even if this new score is lower than the original. This is to encourage students to prepare and take reassessments seriously. The only other criteria is that reassessments must be submitted at least 1 week before the end of the quarter. Again, 146 plus of you, 1 of me. I need to have time in order to grade and provide feedback for you on any reassessments taken. Truthfully, I could spend all of my time here on this one slide and never get bored. I am so excited for you to learn about comparative government and politics. We're going to start out with a unit or potentially several units that will introduce the foundations of comparative government. In it, we're going to learn about the lenses with which comparativists or comparative political scientists see the world. We're also going to learn to speak their language. I need you to know the difference between the terms unitary and federal so that when we start applying them to different COGO countries, you'll understand what I mean. From there, we'll delve into each country specifically. The United Kingdom, followed by Iran, Russia, China, Mexico, and Nigeria. And the reason we'll go in that order will be clear as we move through our units. Each of these countries has a different series of geographic features, different cultural and social components, a different history. All of these components shape the kind of government that they have today and the kind of government they'll have in the future. We'll study social movements and why people require changes, how governments change over time. So many incredible things to learn and so little time. I can't wait to work with you this year to study all of these incredible countries and their systems of government and politics. All right, so the AP Comparative Government and Politics course exam date is Thursday, May 13th, 2021 at 8 a.m. This is still subject to change. Number one, it could change because there is a religious holiday on Thursday, May 13th that College Board forgot to consider. The second component is whether or not we'll be in person and able to take exams in person, and I'll talk more about that in a second. The reason why students sit for the AP Comparative Government and Politics exam is that because it is that test score of a 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, so a 5-point scale, that determines whether or not a student is eligible to receive college credit at either community colleges or four-year colleges, not just in Virginia, but across the entire country. Now, the current cost of an average 3-credit course in the state of Virginia ranges between about $1,000 and $1,800 just for one class. If students score a 3, 4, or 5 on the comparative government exam, it could mean saving that amount of money by not having to take this course in college, regardless of what you choose to major in down the line. So what will the AP exam look like in May? Well, if College Board gets to do what they want, right now they're claiming that they will be able to give full-fledged AP exams in person to students this year. If that is the case, they're planning on the original exam format, which is a 55-question multiple choice component, along with a 4 free response, which is basically like a short answer or essay portion of the exam. Both the multiple choice and the free response will count for 50% of the student's overall score. Now, when you look at the writing, I don't want you to be scared. When it comes to the concept application free response, you're basically going to define and describe a concept or compare political systems and basically write about what you already know. The quantitative analysis, for example, is about looking at a graph or a chart or a table, seeing trends, and drawing conclusions. Comparative analysis, you'll compare two countries. Not hard, given that we'll spend most of our time this year comparing multiple countries. And finally, don't let the argumentative essay scare you. The argumentative essay is not really a multiple paragraph assignment. Many teachers have speculated that you could do the entire essay in about 7 sentences and still get all of the points possible. Now, this past spring, given the virus and the pandemic and the school shutdowns, the College Board and Educational Testing Service decided to do a pared down version of the exam, where they simply asked students to answer questions 2 and 4, so the quantitative analysis and the argumentative essay. My goal, since we don't know what the future holds, is to prepare you as if you were taking the full exam this May. If we get guidance from College Board that suggests we'll do a pared down version, then we'll switch gears. Either way, it is my job to make you think about the world in different ways, to push you, to make you try to persuade me about your perspective, to get you to analyze information critically, and then decide whether and how to use it in your writing. All of this is stuff that is going to help you no matter what you decide to do later in life. The CISL International Research Paper is required only by students in the CISL program. More specifically, only students who are completing the full CISL academic program or who are completing the social and political sciences concentration. This paper and project is designed to help students engage in meaningful academic research on international topics of interest. Your paper for this course and for the program will be a comparativist essay. You'll pick 2 countries and a topic that you are interested in learning more about and research their different policies and compare and contrast which one is the better or more appropriate policy. This year, if you are completing this research paper, you'll actually have 2 options. The first is that you can choose to complete the full actual traditional research paper with both the paper components and the work cited. Or you could choose a combination of both written and oral presentation components. This would include a detailed outline, a thorough works cited page, and an oral presentation to myself or Mrs. Campagna or to both of us. I will work closely with students who wish to complete this project or who need to complete this project. I will break your work on this paper down into manageable components, approve topics and thesis statements, provide resources and advice, share and schedule training sessions with our Hilton librarians who are eager to assist us, and set appropriate deadlines for your components so that all students who wish to complete this project or need to complete this project can do so successfully. I will work very hard to identify which students need to complete this project within the first quarter. Again, this project is only required for Sizzle students in specific programs. Finally, I just want to tell you that I love teaching, that I want you and your students to be successful here and in my course. Words cannot express how excited I am to meet you, even if it's from a distance right now. Please don't ever hesitate to contact me with any questions, comments, or concerns that you have. I'm here to make this year an incredible year for everyone. Thank you so much for tuning into this. I hope this has clarified policies and procedures for our upcoming year together. Thank you so much.